Nigeria. As developed states.
While liberal democracies are stable, democratic, wealthy, and new democracies are moving along the path to stability and wealth, less developed states have had greater difficulties in finding the formula for success. They have not yet built durable political structures and processes, and their economic prospects are limited by a heavy reliance on agriculture and minerals rather than industry or services. Immature political institutions leading to corruptions, poorly developed social services, and political or economic independence. The challenge for them is to rise above their internal divisions, to allow multiple competing views to be factored into decision making, to reduce the government's role in the marketplace, and for them to be offered the right incentives and opportunities by wealthy countries. The right combination of policies can turn adversities into advantages. The problem, however, is that this is all much easier said than done. Now there are 5 defining features of less developed states, namely 1. Weak political institution, 2nd. Unstable state structures, 3rd. Limited economic prospects, 4th. Inadequate social services, and lastly, regional and global marginalization.
Political history. The difficulties of building a stable and united states out of a deeply divided society might once have been planned on the legacy of colonialism, but Nigeria has been independent for nearly 50 years, and Nigerians must take more of the share of the blame. Their leaders have often made a difficult situation worse by failing to build a sense of national unity. Military government. In January 15, 1966, Nigeria experienced its first military group stage by a group of equal officers headed by Major Johnson's Aguiyi, Iran C. Senior national and regional political leaders, including Prime Minister Balewa, were murdered and the federal system was abolished. On the other hand, the political history of Papua New Guinea, deeply rooted in early April 2019, 2 senior cabinet ministers of Papua New Guinea's People's National Congress, known as the PNC Party, led by Peter O'Neill, resigned. This was followed by the resignation of James Marape, Minister for Finance, a senior PNC member and member of parliament for the Taripuri electorate in the Hela province. During the Sumera era, political leadership up to 2002 was characterized by a destructive cycle of elections, member trading, government formation, PM installments, VONC, recalibrate the balance of power, form government, and repeat.
Political culture. A belief in democracy. Nigerians believe that democratic civilian rule is better than unelected military government, and they support political parties, a free press, interest groups, and social organizations. Although the first and second republics both failed, Nigerians do not accept failure as inevitable or enduring. Possessive individualism. Papua New Guinea's attempt to limit the social scope of customs becomes simultaneously an attempt to assert a possessive individual view on themselves as persons or owners of their own capacities in contexts such as business.
Papua New Guinea is an independent parliamentary democracy with British monarch as head of state, represented in Papua New Guinea by a governor-general. The Prime Minister leads the government and has both lawmaking and executive roles. After each national election, parliamentarians elect a Prime Minister who in turn appoints ministers from members of his or her party and/or coalition.
Government. Local government councils were PNG's first elected governments. Most councils covered the large areas, often not connected by the roads, with many different villages and tribes. Nigeria. Under the Fourth Republic, every state is governed by an elected governor serving renewable 4-year terms and a unicameral House of Assembly. As colonial power, Britain strengthened the position of traditional leaders in many of its colonies by ruling through them. The result in Nigeria is that the traditional leaders still have much local influence. The Caliphate still has its own administrative structure, which coexists with that of federal Nigeria.
Nigeria and Papua New Guinea are both countries that are known for their diversity. Specifically, Nigeria's approach to constitutions is a good example of constitutional engineering. Constitutional engineering is a deliberate attempt to change political and social behavior through the rules and goals included in the constitution. Papua New Guinea's approach to constitutions in particular is a superb illustration of political engineering. It is the designing of political institutions in a society and often involves the use of paper decrees in the form of laws, referendums, ordinances, or otherwise to try to achieve some desired effect.
In analysis, Nigeria successfully transitioned from being a less developed state a decade ago to being a new democracy state with developed. However, to overcome its institutional and developmental deficiencies, Nigeria needed to adopt the following democratic development state essentials. First, developmentist elites, who base their politics on the people, and political parties founded on ideology must be in charge of Nigerian politics. The political elites must change how the economy is structured. They can accomplish this by encouraging the growth of human capital, infrastructure, and industrialization. But achieving this depend on inclusive political and economic institutions. On the other hand, in my own opinion, Papua New Guinea is going down. One challenge must PNG to overcome is to ensure that the current higher economic growth rates are maintained. The highlighted crucial limitations which the government's attention are institutional and governance flows, particularly those that affect how public services are provided, keeping corruption under check, administering land and land titles, and upholding law and order. Specifically in the case of transportation, electricity, and infrastructural services, there is a lack of water source, shortages of highly qualified workers, as well as unequal access to an expensive and high-quality education. Getting rid of these barriers will enable PNG to experience more inclusive economic growth, which will give the nation's population more equally distributed opportunity to participate in and profit from economic expansion.